Hey guys, this is Russ and Ashley, and this is She-Wolf Alchemy. Did you guys miss us, by the way? We have been on a break. I think this is the first time we've been on a break, like mid-season, on top of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for and one of this length, I don't think we've done this long.
Mm-mm. And we've just been out here living life. Ain't nothing special happened.
I mean, but we had to. At some point, if we spend too much time just sitting in front of each other talking, we're gonna run out of stuff to talk about. We had to go off and live, engage with others, and be like, you know what? All right.
Explore the world, fall in love. We was out here doing stuff, y'all. Doing stuff. We got new perspective on things. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. But today's episode came from a conversation that me and Ashley had actually like 2 weeks ago, where we discussed this topic of like, yo, not everybody is meant to be a hot girl. Not everybody's meant to be a city girl. And this conversation came from one, I was telling her, this is a conversation I feel like I keep having to have. I have this conversation a lot with my clients. But also, I found myself having this conversation in real life where I was like meeting and interacting with women who were just like tired of the dating game. And they were just like, I'm gonna be out here, I'm gonna be a hot girl, I'm not gonna care about nobody's feelings, da 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 da. And I was having these conversations with people that like I actually really know. And I'm like, you're not a hot girl. You don't have the heart for that. Sit it down. Sit it down before you get hurt. And now I gotta listen to you cry on the phone for 3 hours. Like, let's not. And so we kind of got into that topic of like, yeah, like everybody's screaming like hot girls up 300, city girls for the summer. But the truth of the matter is, we're all not meant to be hot girls or city girls. Some of us don't got that in us, or we don't have that in us anymore. Ashley, what's your take?
Mm-hmm. Girl, I have no more hot girl in me. No.
Mhm.
But no, you're right. Like, everybody does not have the heart for that life. Like, regardless of, oh, well, I don't know, because now it's making me, because I almost said for whole life. But that's not the same, I guess. But it makes me think of how, like, I guess these terms, right? I was gonna say how these terms have kind of transitioned over the
Yeah.
years to where now, yeah, now we've got the hot girl, which is just, I guess, somebody just out living her life carefree,
Mhm.
twerking on a whim. She's hooking up. She's sexually liberated. She driving a boat. She getting towed down,
Mhm.
drunk, whatever. And like, yeah, at some point you just can't run like that for long. Like, well, one, like you were saying, everybody doesn't have the heart for it,
Mhm.
or the lifestyle for it. Also, at some point, please, it just gets old. It has to.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there's some people like that's just them. That's just their life, and that's fine if that's you. I actually have no problem with the hot girl lifestyle. I have no problem with the city girl lifestyle. I am rooting from afar.
Mhm.
Um, but I have retired. I
Mhm.
have retired. Like I just, for some of us, again, like you said, it's a phase, and you gotta get out the phase. And for others, it's a lifelong thing. But again, for some of us, that was never your thing. I know for me, I have a homegirl who like keeps every couple months, it's like, I'm gonna go in my hot girl phase. I'm gonna go in my city girl phase. And I'm just like, you fall in love with people who hold your hand for more than 5 minutes. Like
Mhm.
you don't
Mm.
have it in you to be a city girl or a hot girl. Like you're a lover girl. You are whatever J Lo is, you are doing that. Like you
Mhm.
like relationships, you like being held down, like you you like working things out, you like communication, you like yeah, like you I was like, you can't do that. And we had to have this conversation every couple months. Because every couple months, somebody's son ain't acting right. And she is like, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna be a hot girl, I'm gonna live my best life, I'm gonna have a roster. And I'm like, nope, you're not. Because the first one that makes you laugh, you're gonna be like, and that's him, my husband. And I was like, and that's you, and it's fine. That's who you are. But let's be true to who you are, because trying to live that lifestyle when it's not in you or not
Mhm.
in you anymore, oh,
Mhm.
it leads to a whole different type of burning crash.
It does.
If you are lucky. I know for me, I definitely went through a hot girl phase. I went through mine late in life because, like I told you, I was a pastor's kid, which I know some people equate to like, no, you are like fast tracked into that life, but I wasn't. I actually did. I was like really judgmental and like critical of myself and others. So I didn't do that like when I was younger. It wasn't until I got into like my mid late 20s. And I remember coming to the end of it and realizing like, hey, it's no longer in you and still trying to be out here and do that. And I was just mean to
Mm-hmm.
everybody. I was mean to the men.
Girl.
I was mean to myself. I was just like annoyed because I didn't want to, but I was also like, because at this point in time, like the way I transitioned out of my hot girl like moment phase was I had to go through a celibacy. I had to pull back my energy. I had to isolate for a little while to do some healing. I had to do a lot of stuff that I was like, oh, that sounds horrible. I don't want to, but sex is my coping skill. I don't want to find
Mm.
a new coping skill. Like, it was a lot of things. I just really did not. I have to sit with my, what you mean I gotta feel things now? I don't want to do that. I was teaching it to folks. I didn't want to use it. Like it was a whole thing for me. And it was like it was a long process. It was definitely like a 2-year process of me just like detoxing and like
Mm-hmm.
having to separate myself and having to heal myself. But not only that, but also it was like a 2-year process of me unlearning certain like really toxic behaviors. Not saying that being a hot girl is full of toxic behaviors, but mine was. And I had to unlearn a whole bunch of stuff, and it was a long, hard process. And, like, now looking back, I really wish if I could tell myself one thing during that time, it would be like, "Girl, let go. You that's just not who you are anymore. Stop trying to fight to keep it. Learn the new version of you now. You peeled off that old skin."
Mm-hmm. That's real. Because it can be hard to let go of when you're just like, this is what I do. I feel like I spent most of my 20s being a hot girl or some version of that, whatever we were calling it back then. Um, but I feel like I definitely
We was calling it being fast. That's
just
what they
being
was calling it.
fast.
I was
It
out here
was
being
my whole
fast.
whole life. It was all of that stuff. And I really now I like to phrase it like, I casually dated for most of my 20s. That's how I phrase it. But it's,
Hold on, is that the version we gonna tell our kids? Like, I was just casually
yes.
dating
Yeah.
my 20s. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
I
see, why
like
not?
that.
That's technically what was happening. But and I realize it's so much more being on the other side of things. But also sometimes when I talk to people about like what they were doing during these points in their life, and I'm like, man, nah, it's
I
not.
can't relate.
No, I can't, cause I was out here learning and making mistakes and doing all kind of foolishness. It was a hot mess, but much like yourself, I had to get to a point of like, this is just not it. This is not fulfilling. And I think also because I met a couple people towards the end that I thought that I wanted to be with. And that changed something for me of like, oh, I do want this, even though it
Yeah.
wasn't, even though it didn't come to fruition. I thank goodness it did not. But I was also really hurt by that. And so then that let me know, like, oh, okay, we're done with this.
The amount of women I know that have been taken out of their hot girl phase by somebody's dusty ass son. But like
Mm.
love, like falling for somebody meeting and be like, oh wait, I really like having a person and being sure with this person. I really like what it feels like to not want nobody else but you. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
getting comfortable in this nest. And almost every single person I know that got taken out that hot girl phase by that did not end up with that person.
Mm-mm.
It was
Mm-mm.
just like it was the universe playing chess while we was playing checkers. Universe just be like, let me show you what's available. You would just heal.
Mm-hmm.
Not him, not him. He's just here to show you it's possible. Please let him go. He's a prototype. He's not even getting off the factory floor. But just know this type of feeling exists.
Boy, I'd
Mm-hmm.
love to do that to you.
Oh,
Yeah. But having that, I realized like, oh, okay, these are, even though this didn't match up, clearly something about this. And also realizing, bruh, that is time consuming. I don't know. For me, it's time consuming. All that maneuvering and whatnot. Cause if you really live in that life, like you could be out 3, 4 nights a week, different people. You
Easily.
you could easy. You could really not prepare a meal for yourself all week. You can eat out. This is, and I say this because I really do remember in like the deepest period of like I am celibate, I am not dating anyone, having a moment where I realized that I was like, I am so sick of thinking about what I'm gonna eat.
We had this conversation.
Girl, it
We
was
had
a
this
whole
conversation
moment for
because we
me.
hit it at the same point in time. We were like, and why wasn't this a thing? Oh, because I was always going out, people was buying me dinner.
Somebody else.
And now I gotta cook. Okay.
At least
Okay.
3 to 4 times a week, someone else made this decision for me or
Hmm.
assisted in it. And now here I am every day, breakfast,
I,
lunch, and dinner.
I used to have a phrase where I would say, I'm only an adult when my daughter's here. Because my daughter is with
Mhm.
her the father one week and then with me the other week and then her father one week. And the weeks that my daughter was not here, like I wasn't cooking. I was out. I was
Mhm.
out. I was out having fun. Because when my baby's here, I'm on mommy time. I'm playing patty cake. We're baking in the kitchen together. We're doing stuff. But yeah, yeah. There was like a whole period for me. Like I'm not even a real adult when my daughter's not here. I go to work. I come home, wash, get dressed, put on even
Mhm.
heavier makeup, and then I go out. Show back up in at work in the morning somehow. Go about my day.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. But yeah, having that role was like, oh wow, that really, it just really acknowledged something for me. Yeah. But then I don't know, just like it's time consuming. That
It
was my
is.
point to all of that. Like it is time consuming to do that much maneuvering to keep up with folks. It's a lot.
I
It's a lot.
know one of the ways, I mean, I had this realization when I first stopped, but definitely after a while, like I had just kind of like backed away from everything and was just learning myself and healing and da 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 da. And after like a year and a half of that, I was like, okay, maybe I need to try dating again. And I got on some app and I lasted all of it. And I paid too, because I was like, I don't want to swipe.
Mhm.
I don't want to do nothing. Like, I want to just go through a list and be like, yes, no, yes, no. Like, let me pick what I like and go about my day. And I think I paid for like a week. And like, I was off by day two because it was so time consuming. And I was like, I was so used to like not have to spend my time trying to engage with strangers, trying to keep up
Mhm.
conversation, and it was like yeah. It was not it was
Girl.
day two, like the morning of the next day. And I was like, I don't want to do this. This seems like a lot. I actually really I'm really enjoying my own company right now. Don't know why. Don't know why I thought maybe it was time to bring somebody else into this. Yeah. And you know what's funny? Me and my mom went out to dinner yesterday, and
Mhm.
she did ask me, like, we were eating, and she just looked at me and she was like, "You're so pretty." And I was like, "Thanks, mommy." Okay, like it was random, and she was just like, "You dress well," and I was like, "Okay, where are we going with this? Because I don't why am I being given this?" She was like, "Well, I'm just saying because you haven't been dating, and I'm a little concerned." And I was like, I'm fine. I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying life right now. She's like, I'm
Mhm.
very concerned about what are you and I had to like go through the talk with her, like I'm not against anything, but also that's a lot of energy to date,
Mhm.
to meet the right people.
Mhm.
You kind of gotta at this point, universe chess move things need to start happening.
Mhm.
Bring people in and see what happens.
Mhm. I think for me on the other side of things and joining joining the apps was more like when I met somebody I liked, I was like, I'm not doing all this maneuvering. It made me go ahead and make a decision faster.
Hmm.
Of like, I don't got time to be trying to schedule all these folks around. You know what? I like this person. I'm just gonna do this. This works.
Well, but also you got lucky on the apps. You did get lucky on the apps.
I shall say. I
You
shall
got
say.
lucky on the apps. Yeah. No, Atlanta is not the place to get lucky on apps, y'all. I don't know. I don't know what the rest of y'all women are doing in Atlanta. I really feel like we should all join forces and just build our
Do
own
what?
community at this point. Um, maybe give them time away alone so they can fix themselves, and then let's see what we try to do later. But you did get lucky in apps. And I do think it's easier when, and I have before. I actually did. There was like it was when I was in my hot girl phase though,
Mhm.
where I met some really great people. I met
That's a
some really great people.
that's another thing, to know. Your hot girl phase will have you single. Like I think that's a big lesson too because I feel like I play like I've talked about that a couple times I think where it's like I was out here saying yeah just when I meet the right person totally I'll totally get this was not happening and not by me like intentionally avoiding it but clearly my path was not going to lead to that. We can't all be Meg and be out here and have a party show up, even though they've already broken up by now. But we can't all be in the midst of hot girl phase and think that because you really could be coming across great people and just they're just not what's hot at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing. Yeah, I think we all kind of want someone to kind of just like rescue us and be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be out here. And then you just throw off a what did they call those things? A floaty and pull me
A
in on the boat.
lifesaver.
Yeah. Pull me in on the
But
boat.
I
And
think,
I'm gonna behave when someone comes to pull me on the boat. But also like people in the boats usually ain't looking at who and what is going on in the water.
but also, that's a point.
Hmm.
That's a good
Hmm.
point. But also, I feel like when you have so much going on, what you're expecting out of one person, I think can be unrealistic and too much.
Hmm.
Like if you're in a phase where you're used to being taken out multiple nights a week or doing all this and that, like, and then you expect one person to come along and take up all of that time that you were giving to multiple people or to like I have a friend who says this a lot, like she like he should be keeping me so busy that no one else can get my attention. But it's like now, granted, on the one hand, if somebody want to be in your face all the time, they will be in your face all the time, and I definitely believe that. But the idea that someone should be entertaining you so much that you don't even have time to notice anyone else, I think is a bit much. I think that's childish number one, but I think like that's asking a lot of one person, or that's a big expectation of somebody. And but when you're in the midst of all this chaos, I think that's really what like you're like because that's what I was thinking when you're saying like somebody to come along and save me. It's like someone to come along and just distract me from enough of this or be so great that I don't pay attention to that. But like you're in the mix of all this and you're asking a lot for one person to come along and just razzle dazzle you so much that you leave this whole lifestyle alone. It's not fair.
Yeah. Well, but also like I feel like with me, it wasn't so much I wanted someone to distract me or yeah, to like entertain me all the time. That's definitely not a thing. I definitely like people who have business. Like, yes, I miss you. I want to see you. If you could go now though, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I would like I don't like to be talked to in a oh, that was a thing. I am not a morning person. And I really hate I really
Oh,
hate when I date people who are morning people and then you try to explain to them like, yo, I'm not a morning person. Like, okay. And still at 6 a.m. bright and just, hey babe, what you doing? What
nah.
we gonna do today? You look so cute. And I'm just sitting there with an attitude, like, please stop talking to
No,
me.
I and see me, I am a morning person, but I like my mornings to myself. Like I don't want to
Mhm.
be bothered during them. I don't want to wake up and look. That's how I knew I was for real about somebody when I woke up and was like, it's okay that you're here. You can stay here while I take a shower. Versus in the past, I'd be like, when my alarm go off, that means get the fuck out. Cause I'm about to go get. I don't want to hear. Like, I don't want to give you the opportunity to potentially mess up my morning.
That's definitely a thing for me. If I can stay near you for more than like 2 days at a time and not be like, all right, so I gotta go. That's definitely like, oh, I really like this. We are really vibing because I like my alone time. I like chilling.
Hmm.
I like chilling and not being talked to. I think I had this conversation with you before where I was like, I notice when I don't have my daughter, especially now that I'm like in my chill out phase, I'm like, I can go days without talking to folks. Like I realize sometimes I talk just because she's there and I have to, and I love her and I want to invite, engage her. But the minute
A
she goes,
growing mind.
so that's definitely a thing for me. Like, you're here in my space and I'm not anxious to leave. I'm not like, so what you got going on? Anywho, that's not where I was going with this. But for me, one of the things that was hard to make that transition was because I was not good at talking through things and handling things like an adult in relationships. And so I was used to like, if you're dating multiple people, this one get on my nerves. I'm just not gonna talk to you, then I'm gonna talk to him. And then when you apologize, I guess we'll figure that out. But like I don't have to work through things because there's other options that I could just hop around to.
Yeah. I. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I
Mm-hmm.
remember dating somebody like towards the end of that same thing, met somebody I really, really did like. I really, really was like, yo, I think this might be my person. Um, I really enjoyed him at that time and cutting away other people. And then, him just doing things that were like, and me not having as many options as I was used to bounce around to. And being like, now I gotta have a conversation with him. Now I gotta say you hurt my feelings. Now I gotta like it and just be like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is why I should have kept blank 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 on the roster. This is why da 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 da. And working through now he might disagree, but for me, I definitely did work through a lot more than I normally would have in that phase of life. Like I had the conversations. Like he was not instantly block on things. And that was like hard and like difficult for me. You're laughing, but that was like super difficult for me. I remember Neat during this phase, not him, I ended things with him, but there was somebody that was like my favorite placeholder. And I can say that and it's fine because they knew what it was, I knew what it was. We were in each other's life holding space. And it was fine. It's fine. Don't
Oh
anyway.
no, I'm listening. Just out, girl. No, I'm just listening. I'm like, yeah, I'm resonating with you.
Okay, okay. So like,
I'm
look,
not judging.
don't judge me. He was a
I'm
very
not
safe
judging.
place. He was a very safe place. But I remember like after that phase of dealing with that person that I was like, oh, I think this might be my person, and ending that and being like really sad and really hurt about the whole situation, and hanging more with my placeholder person, and me and him got into it, and it was both of us. It was mostly me. I will say that. In my defense, I told this man, yeah, don't come over. I'm really not in the mood. I'm in a bad mood. I really want to do anything lovey-dovey. You always insist on trying to make everything seem very lovey-dovey, and I'm not in the mood. Just no. Came over anyway. I'm like, fine. And then I was an ass to him. Like when I say I was ass, like I was really mean. Like I was really, really, really mean. And realized I was being mean in the middle of it, but really couldn't stop myself. And then like a couple days later, I was thinking about it. I felt really, really bad. And like I reached out to this man and apologized to him. And that doesn't seem like anything. But when I tell you I told this to Neek, Neek was like, what is going on? What is happening with you? Because she was just like, you reached out to this man and you apologize. Not that I don't ever like apologize for things. That's not a thing. But like I was like really sincerely like, I care that I hurt your feelings. I was in the wrong for doing that. Let me explain what I was going through. I was hurt and I was taking that hurt out on you because this thing that happened over here. It was like a whole thing. And I had never done that before. And I remember talking to Nika about it and just being like, I'm growing. She was like, I mean, not in the right ways, but yes, we all appreciate the growth.
I was gonna say, I was listening to you and making me think. I know. I feel like I had people that were more like emotional buffers.
Mm.
almost. It was like keeping this balancing act, made sure that I didn't get too close to anyone
Mhm.
at all. You know, it's like as long as this person's here, you gotta stay over there. There's not gonna be this. I don't know. I feel like
Well,
I know
so
that was a thing.
no, but so I am because I am thinking about the differences because I feel like my placeholder people were like people who like I know for a fact that I don't like your personality enough that I would ever like actually fall for you. So you
Hmm.
feel safe. I can
Mm-hmm.
hang with you, we can have fun and so forth, but you're always going to say something to make me be like, see, and that's why. That's why. Like, I can't talk to you for too long because it's going to ruin everything and I'm going to have to go. That was me. But I feel like you, on the was the opposite end because you had placeholders who were emotional placeholders where, like, y'all
Yeah.
had deep connections, but they were a twisted soul who couldn't love and da da
Yeah.
da da. Da. And, like, it's just cracking me up because I'm now like as you were talking, I'm noticing the difference. I was like, yeah, mine was purely like, no, there's no way in the world I would ever. That's why you're safe because I know there's no way in the world, no matter what you do, I would ever fall for you. And yours was the exact opposite. Yours was just like he is my soulmate, but he's twisted and he needs to be healed. And he, this
So-
drama.
yeah, but like, yeah, it's funny every now and then I'll reflect on that particular. I mean, and I wonder. Well, I know I mean, I don't know. Who knows how long I would have been single without that emotional placeholder? Because it was more like, oh, okay, I get certain needs met here, and then it doesn't really matter what happens anywhere else.
Mm,
Was kind of how that was, and we I'm pretty sure that that was mutual
yeah,
on both sides of things. Because at some point we didn't even have an official ending. At some point we were just both in different places of life. Like, yeah, you're doing good doing that. I'm doing good doing this,
yeah.
and that's just that. We did that.
Yeah, because when me and you both first really met, like hanging tough, yeah, they were definitely more of a prominent thing where I would hear their name and they're coming and they're doing this and da da da. And I'm like, hi. And then there just was a time where it just wasn't. It just wasn't. I think I needed to get something from them. And I was like, hey, can you reach out to them? Because I can't get them and I need them to do this thing. And you're like, oh, yeah, let me see. You're just like, I can talk to them forever. All right, well, let me see. And it just fade itself out. Yeah, no, mine crashed and burned because of that night. Because of that time, I was an asshole. I did apologize, and all right, fine.
But thank you.
Universe is telling me be healthy anyway. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. Thank goodness, for the fact that all things end at some point.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you let it in, if you would just let it in, because some people are really up here holding on to lifestyles that they know their body can no longer take.
What do you think? What do you think is the appeal?
I think the appeal definitely is. I think a lot of us, a lot of us haven't been loved properly. A lot of us have had heartbreak. And so there's some appeal in this like carefree, no feelings. I'm just out here, I'm having the fun, but I'm not having the pain.
Mm.
And it's not true. And it feels like that for a while. And I think definitely if you're an avoidant type of person, and for a long time I was a very avoidant type of person, I still have to actively remind myself to like, hey, engage. And this is you running away. Um, but there's a great appeal in the lifestyle because it's like it encourages me to be avoided. It encourages me to like spin in this cycle and not get hurt. There is this false advertisement of you can do all the stuff.
Mm.
There's no there's no getting your feelings hurt.
Hmm. I like that you put it that way. False advertisement,
Mhm.
because they show make it seem that way. And I love whenever, and not to, I'm never one to like, please do not, have celebrities be your guide. Okay, don't do that. But I love when people do point out, like, hey, Cardi B is married, you know, or like, a lot of these women in relationships or would love to be in one, you know. Like,
Hmm.
let's be real while they, giving you the anthem of the summer. And again, I'm not against it. Hell.
Hmm. There was, I can't remember who it was. It was a guy that was like a Dr. Umar type, like not Dr. Umar, but someone who was like a black man that spoke on relationship love with
Hmm.
authority, apparently. But I can't remember what it was, but I remember watching this clip on him on like YouTube, and he broke it down. I can't remember who he used as example, but he went through it. He was just like, young blah 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 is telling y'all to go out here to be trappers. He sent his son to Harvard. Young, Lil blank 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 is telling y'all strippers, money, girls. His wife has her master's degree, is educated. She's a very beautiful but very Claire Huxtable type of beautiful type woman. He did not get her from the strip club. Like, and he just like broke down all these people that's like they encourage y'all to go do this shit while they go home and live their happy life that's very different than what they're selling. I gotta understand
Hmm.
there's a difference.
Hmm. Hmm.
So like how do you determine if you are even built for this? Like let's say you've never done the city girl life, you never did a hot girl life. How do you even determine if you are built for this?
What's your attachment style?
That helps.
Can you attach and detach in a healthy way? I think that's important. If you know you get
Not
locked in,
necessarily in a healthy way because I was out
I
here
mean, you're right. Well,
track
well,
running it
I
with
guess I
my
would say if you're
unhealthy
built to do
attachment
it
style.
successfully without running yourself into the
I would definitely say if you
well, I
have
guess
an
can you
anxious,
detach? Can you detach?
can you detach?
That's the most important thing.
If you have an anxious attachment style, do not try it. Let me just start there. Do not try it.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely, yeah. If you know that you get too attached to people too quickly, don't do that.
If when you tell your homegirl stories about your dating life and they often go, well, instead of laugh, this ain't for you. This ain't for you. Me and Ashley, 80% of our love life stories ends in like busting out laughing. Just
Hmm.
like, girl, you did what? Why? Why would you do that? That's
Hmm.
wild. You should not do it. If your responses people normally give you are, oh, well, I
Hmm.
mean, yep, that's not for you. That's not for you.
I think if you're the type of person who damages people's property when you're upset, I don't think you should do it. Because you could end up in jail. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen.
Okay.
I know you. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but again, we're asking, are you built for this? It is only by luck that some people don't get arrested for their behavior. My point is, you're gonna get
That felt
upset out here
targeted,
in
but
these
okay.
streets.
That felt very targeted, but okay.
I'm just pointing out that just because it happens, people get away with it, don't mean it's the norm. So don't be out here playing with your feelings like that.
Yeah.
If because just like you want to run around and play, other people are gonna run around and play. And if you can't handle that, then you don't need to be out here. If
Mhm.
you know you're gonna get in your feelings and start wanting to break people's stuff, don't play with yourself.
Mhm. If you fall easily for people, you're not built for it.
Mhm.
If you fall very easily for folks, also if you actually want a relationship, you're not built for this. If you know, like, oh, I actually really want to find the love of my life, but nobody's acting right, so let me just go out here wild. Girl, don't go out here wild. It's just gonna further build up in your mind the reasons why people ain't out here acting right. It'll have the opposite effect. You think you out here having fun. What will happen 3 years later? You'll be sitting here even more bitter and heartbroken about love.
Cause you'll run into the scummiest.
Hmm. Or you might run into somebody who's cool, who's a really good person. You really like them. And you're like, okay, let's settle down. They'll be like, no.
I mean that too.
And you'll be like, but you're okay, okay. And you busy out here trying to act like you not bothered.
I feel like when you unserious, you'll run into you run into unserious people, and then you just end up like seeing that as like the control group. And it's not. Because you feel like, oh, all these mothers act like this. Duh, 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 duh." But like, no, those are the people that are over there doing that thing. And you in there
Mhm.
with them. You're a part of that.
You run into clowns because you went to the circus.
Yeah, that's where
Go
they at.
outside of the circus.
That's where you wanted to play. And that's okay, girl. Have fun. Okay. Get you a prize. But don't be surprised. But know that you're in a very specific place. That's what I mean, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're gonna run into people who are fitting those circumstances. As you should be.
Hmm. I mean, one of the things I think is important to remember is also like there's other categories of like woman that you can be. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna be a city girl, I'm gonna be a lame. Like, no, you can be a lover girl. You can be the mystical girl. You can be the high priestess girl. Like there's all sorts of different categories of women that you can be. And here's the thing, especially those of us like I was looking at our demographics the other day. Our demographics is like mostly people in their 30s and up. Um, so this is for us grown folks. If you're in your 20s, you you're baby grown. You're baby grown. It feels grown until you turn 30. Something happens when you turn 30. You be like, I gotta get my credit score up. Anywho, what you'll realize though is especially as you get older, is like being a hot girl, being a city girl, all that stuff that we like to say and the way that we use it. And I know Meg has came out and said like she just made a girl that's free and being original. I'm sure the city girls have their own definition, but it's not the terms that the internet has decided it's going to be used for. We know what the internet means when they say it. But that particular lifestyle, I think the older you get, the more you realize, like, also, that's not what your peers are doing anymore. Like, it seems like that's what everybody's doing online. But when you come offline, what you'll see is a lot of your peers are also like, I just want to be loved. Um, I mean, I'm at the club, but like, I'm low key crying. Like, I'm here because I thought this is where we're going, but like, I want somebody to come walk my dog with me. That'd be great. Like, there's other categories, and it's not like, oh, this is what the cool people are doing. This is what we supposed to be. I don't got the energy. Most of us don't got the energy no more. And I think, at least for me, from the circle I know, it feels like a facade that everybody's trying to keep up with. But I think a lot of people are actually burnt out from it. And I think the more of us that um, genuinely disengage with those parts of us that don't resonate with that anymore and move into whatever phase it is that you resonate with now, um, the better off we'll be. Some of us are in our healing phase, some of us are in our lover girl phase, some of us are in our soft girl phase. Be in that. Enjoy it.
Nope, you're right. There are other ways to be. And it's, again, we have no shade or judgment to the hot girls out there by all means. If it's the life for you, enjoy it while you're in that space. But it's also okay to change and phase into other things in life and to grow and evolve and devolve and whatever else. The biggest thing is this: no, it's okay to change and it's okay to do something different. Your personality shouldn't be stagnant
Mhm.
for your entire life. It's just not supposed to be. And that's no fun. That's not what a hot girl would do. That's boring. But yeah, there's different things to be. I feel like we're just like naming aesthetics. Like you could be this type of girl or that type of girl, but you could be you, you know?
Mhm.
You could be the type of girl who goes on self exploration and figures out what that means
Mhm.
to just be you. And you know, maybe you don't have to go as stone cold as Russ and I did, but maybe you do.
But
Maybe
baby,
you
you too.
will. No.
Let me tell, can I just briefly say, whenever I bring that up to other women, they're like in their healing journey and so forth. And I'm like, well, have you thought about maybe celibacy? And they're like, okay, okay, okay. Like I'll cut out gluten. I'll do the other like yeah, you want me to be vegan and meditate more? Sure. Okay. There's certain things I put in my body that I will stop doing, but there's others.
girl.
I feel like I keep having this conversation where I'm like, it's
I
fine.
I
It's fine.
find it so funny because having like, and I think you see too when you have friends older than you and they
Mhm.
go through phases before you get to them. So like I know one of my friends who's a little bit older than me, I remember her going through a phase and we were out and she was like, "Girl, nah, I ain't did nothing." And I don't know, it doesn't even matter what the time length of time was at that point in my life. She could have said 6 months and I'd have been like, how can you?
Mhm.
But she had some length of time, and I was like, "What?" And she said, "I just don't feel like having anybody inside my body right now. I just don't feel like
Mhm.
sharing my body with anyone." And
Word.
I was like, "Oh wow!" Like that was just such an interesting way for her to put that. And then I
Mm.
remember having that feeling, and I reached
Mhm.
out to her and was like, "Girl, I get it. Like I fully get it right now." Yeah, but but that too is just a phase. But yeah, I know. Yeah, when I would hear other people say it at another space in my life, I was like, that sounds crazy. I
It
could never.
would.
I don't understand. And you would be so surprised, like you said at the beginning, like detoxing, like you
Mhm.
detox from all that. And I feel like I swear sometimes when I talk about this, I feel like I'm one of them people on, that come on in the middle of the night on like preacher TV or whatever, like the Christian channels, where it's like
Yeah.
when you detox from the lust and all that. But for real,
For real. For real.
when
For
you
real.
step back and take time, let your nervous system calm down. You're fine. You're fine. Promise you.
But again, I agree with you. It's so, so real because I have done celibacy 3 times in my life. I have, um, it's just a thing. Yeah. That and tattoos. That's how I always know I'm about to enter a new era. I go celibate and then and then I get a new tattoo. That seems to be the correlations. But there is just like this feeling of like, okay, I don't want no distractions. This feeling of I don't want nothing in my body. I want to just be me and I want to detox because I know even this last time, that feeling of detoxing really had me looking at certain situations like you stupid. Like, why was you that? That and it wasn't even just sexual things. It was things outside of that. It was just like, now that I can think clearly and not out of lust or whatever, don't have all these random attachments to me.
Mhm.
I'm looking at decisions I made a whole different way. And I'm
Mhm.
able now to look at it that and be like, oh, that was out of hurt. You did that out of hurt. Oh, that was out of, you were angry. That's what that was. That was anger. You didn't want to process it as anger, but that was anger. That was sadness. And just really be able to clearly look at like my motives. So yeah,
Mm.
detox.
Mhm. And also, again, like I said earlier, like the time that goes into stuff, like I know for me, I was able to explore a lot more of myself, my ideas, hobbies, just all of that stuff because I really was like, man, I really contributed a lot of time to this pursuit. And if I gave that same amount of attention into my hobbies or figuring out, which one of my ideas I want to really like take to fruition, like it's amazing. You'd be surprised
Mhm.
what happens when you shift that energy somewhere else because you really would be surprised to notice how much time you're taking up just engaging with people and just all of it.
Mhm. No, I 1,000% agree. The like you said, hobbies and but also the people I was meeting and interacting with change. Um, my perspective on things have changed. Lots to go. Lots of go. But also, again, some people, for y'all listen to this and be like, hot girl, city girl. Like, I was just out here getting money. What was y'all doing? Because it can look like different things. We didn't even get into what ours
Mhm,
look like exactly. And look like different
mhm,
things than yours. And that's fine. But the whole thing, though, is that don't feel no pressure. to like be in your hot girl phase and you are feeling the resistant. I feel like again we talked about this. I do definitely come across some more people who are like, really it's hurt, it's pain, and it's just like I'm about to be out here. They ain't like the men, and I'm gonna be reckless and I'm gonna be wilding. And
Mm-hmm.
just before you do that, ask yourself why. Am I doing this out of hurt? Because if you're doing that out of hurt, you gonna attract certain
Already.
situations that's just gonna make the hurt worse. And you're still gonna have to detox from it. And I'm not saying don't do it. I am a therapist. Go ahead and do it and come sit on my couch for a good year or two. It's fine. But I am saying
I'm thinking about the
understand
memes
the
that are like, date
precautions.
them all, sis.
Hmm.
Or something about the memes that are like, date them all, sis. And I'd be looking like, you child. All
Yeah.
right.
When you are in that
Date y'all
phase, and if
folks.
that's what you want to do and that's who you are, yep, definitely do that. I
Mm-hmm.
know me currently, I am not in the phase of date them all. I'm just
Mm-mm.
not in the phase of date them all. I don't even want to get to know more than two men. Like I don't the idea of really getting to know one is still like very sometimey. So yeah,
So weird.
but if you are in that phase, do you do you with some self-knowledge though? I mean honest with yourself when it's time to give it on up.
Hmm.
That's all I got.
So this summer, be a hot girl or not. So have a healed. You could have a healed girl summer. You could have a soft girl summer, as we said. You could have a flower girl summer. How
Mhm.
about that? But if you do choose to have a hot girl summer, though, decide if you are actually built for this. I think that's our point too. It's just we want to free you from it and let you know that's not what you got to do. There's other stuff
Mhm.
you could do. But if you gonna do it, make sure you ready for what it is actually like. It's not all fun and games.
Yeah. So, guys, that is all we have for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed. You can head over to the Instagram, which is She-Wolf Alchemy. Head over to the TikTok, which is also She-Wolf Alchemy. Also, guys, we have a website now. It's great. You should
Mhm.
check it out. www.shewolfalchemy.com. Head on over there. You can check out some stuff that we're doing, other stuff that we're involved in. Oh, we have some shirts on there too. So check us out on all those places and then follow us and like, subscribe, share, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you could. And other than that, you hear the sound of our voices again next Sunday. We missed you guys and welcome back. Bye.
Welcome back. Bye.